Okay, that was a very interesting game between the Jets and the 49ers. Obviously, the 49ers looked just as great as they always do, which is to be expected. They are the 49ers. It seems like people keep waiting for that bubble to pop, but it's not a bubble. The core of the 49ers, the DNA, Brock Purdy, Shannon, we talk about all the weapons for that Brock Purdy has, right? And even Shanahan, I suppose. But when we look at a nucleus, at a team, for a great team, whether it be a coach quarterback duo like an Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, we always say as long as you kind of got them to, they'll be able to find a way to be competitive. They'll find a way to be great no matter who they have. Whether Tyreek Hill is there, whether Travis Kelce is there, doesn't matter. They'll find a way. And we've done that with a few quarterbacks over the years, but it seems like Brock Purdy never gets that type of treatment. To a degree, it's understandable, right? He's played for a year and a half, so to speak, as a starter, and now this will be his second full year as a starter, hopefully full year as a starter. But I think we have to start to enter the conversation as Shanahan and Purdy are just a deadly duo. We're so quick just to put all of the success on Shanahan, the weapons, then Purdy. But the truth of the matter is that Purdy just does not miss. Yeah, he had a couple bad throws, which Troy Aikman even pointed out. But then Troy Aikman also said, my God, Brock Purdy threw some perfect balls as well. I mean, I just think at this point we have to just accept that Brock Purdy is the real deal. He is a great top-level quarterback. He throws a better ball than Lamar Jackson. He just does. I don't really think it's that controversial, to be quite frankly. I know Lamar's as a dynamic runner and a two-time MVP, but if you're asking me, I need someone to throw the ball, I'm taking Brock Purdy. I just am. He's so confident now. He's so much more comfortable. You can see that. It feels like he is running that offense more. Of course, it's still Shanahan, but he feels more like the leader on the field, right? More of an extension of Shanahan. Where in the past, and it's only one game, but in the past, it felt more like he was just a vessel for Shanahan, right? He was like the avatar. It was like Shanahan tells me to lift my arm, I lift my arm. He tells me to bring it down, I bring it down, right? He was just, the offense was running through Brock Purdy by Shanahan. Now it feels like Purdy, it's an extension of Shanahan, which matters, which is to me what a lot of times Andy Reid and Mahomes have. Now, of course, Mahomes has way more freedom and flexibility to do what he wants, and I think Brock Purdy can get there, but it's just Brock Purdy just, I don't know how you could not be comfortable. There's all this talk, right, about what does he look like without Christian McCaffrey? What does he look without Christian McCaffrey? Well, he throws for 231 yards, averages 8 yards attempt, and an 89, essentially 90 rating. That's what happens. And then Mason is able to step in, 28 carries, 147 yards. Now, that was a combination between the Packers, the Jets struggling for the run game, but also Brock Purdy was picking them apart in the air. They kept the defense on their back foot the whole game. The Jets defense was just uncomfortable the whole game. I mean, every time Brock Purdy had a window, he hit it. He just did. He stepped up and he just nailed all his throws. And quite frankly, his numbers should be well more. He should have probably over 300 yards and multiple touchdowns. Ayuk is the one that kind of dropped a couple, but Purdy just threw some unbelievable balls, and I'm sitting there and just being like, again, I watched every single game here, and I'm thinking, we watched this week 1, where quarterbacks just really had some up and down games, threw some really questionable balls at times. Even quarterbacks that have had success, whether it be Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes, and Brock Purdy never really put the ball in danger. He just didn't. I mean, listen, did he scramble for 10 seconds and then throw a 70-yard bomb? No, he did not. But he didn't need to. This was not a game where it was like, well, this was clearly Shanahan. Brock Purdy does exactly what Mahomes does in regards with Andy Reid. Andy Reid schemes open guys wide open for Mahomes to hit. And Mahomes hits them. He does not miss them. When I mean miss, I don't just mean with the accuracy, that as well, but also just finding the guy. There's plenty of times when you watch, game film, you'll see that there's plenty of times that there's someone open that the quarterback just doesn't see, doesn't hit him. Just misses him completely. And Brock Purdy does not do that. He hits the open man virtually every single time, which is what Mahomes does. And that's Andy Reid's brilliance, and that's Shanahan's brilliance. Now, where Mahomes takes to the next level is that he can now, go off script and get the job done. When a play breaks down, Mahomes can obviously make magic out of nothing. Now, Purdy isn't 100% there yet, but what he does when that player isn't wide open, Purdy still puts the ball in a position for the offense to make a play, for Debo to make a play, for Kittle to make a play. I mean, let's see here. Jennings, 5 receptions for 64 yards. Debo, 5 for 54. Juszczyk, 2 for 40. Kittle, 4 for 40. Ayuk, 2 for 28. And Ayuk could have had a better game, but again, he had a couple of drop passes. Those are good numbers. 5 targets for 5 receptions, 64 yards. I mean, what more can you ask? And what's great is look at this spreading. This is not the numbers of a quarterback who can't hit his men, who can only rely on the Avengers. It's just not. I mean, this is a completely he's making the entire offense connected and all feel engaged. He completely spreads the ball around. It's as good as it gets right there. It really is. And like I said, his numbers would be even higher. And that run game, again, kudos to Mason. I mean, my God, 28 carries, 147 yards. I'm not sure if that ended up being better than Mixon or not. I'd have to take a look. But I mean, he just, he really stepped up. I mean, a lot of people I think saw, okay, Christian McCaffrey's not there. 49ers are going to not look too good. And that's not the case at all. And again, when we saw a lot of week 1 games where the teams were really, a little uneven, and they were not uneven. And I think the Jets are actually a pretty good team. I really do. I think the 49ers offense, again, the defense looked good. I think it is a little tricky in the first few weeks to gauge, right? Because you're trying to figure out, maybe the Jets are garbage, right? Maybe they're an awful team. I don't think so, but maybe they actually are. Maybe their defense is just not what it's been. They're done. What are you going to do? And then that makes this win maybe look a little bit less impressive, right? And maybe Aaron Rodgers has nothing going on offensively, and maybe that defense then for the 49ers doesn't look that impressive. My gut tells me that the Giants are actually a pretty good team. I forget what I just said if I said Giants. The Jets are a pretty good team, but the 49ers are a better team, and just demonstratively better. And the other takeaway for me was Aaron Rodgers still throws a beautiful ball. This box score, incredibly misleading. Incredibly misleading. He throws an absolutely beautiful ball. I mean, he does not miss anything. And the way he commands the offensive line, the line of scrimmage, oh my God. It's like second to no one. Honestly, he's so composed, so organized, and his accuracy is just deadly. The fact that they didn't win, the fact that they only put up 19 points had nothing to do with Aaron. Nothing to do with Aaron. If you want to blame Aaron for anything, it's the fact that he picked the Jets. I was writing this to someone in the comments, to Travis O'Shea, saying it's really a shame that we never saw Aaron with a top level coordinator or offensive head coach. That we never got to see him with an Andy Reid, with a Sean McVay, with a Shanahan, right? To me, that's actually a pretty big tragedy of Aaron Rodgers' career, because the guy is a magician. He really is. I was wildly impressed. He looked fully recovered. Is he older? For sure, but he still has the arm. He still has the accuracy. He still commands the offense. 13 for 21, 167 yards, 8 yards average, 1 touchdown. That interception was not his fault at all. Not his fault. And again, his numbers would have been significantly better. They had drop passes, some, untimely penalties, fumble. But again, some blatant, a couple really passes in the hands dropped. Just wonky stuff that, again, had nothing to do with Aaron, which is a shame. I think this game could have been closer, should have been closer. But for the most part, it was, it wasn't the most exciting game. I feel like even if you're a 49ers fan, like it was a quiet 32 points, right? Like it had a weird pace to it. It didn't feel very exciting for whatever reason. It just felt kind of like it didn't feel like week one. Oh my God, we're back, baby. Maybe because it was such a long weekend of so many games, and this game felt like it should have had a little bit more firepower, right? It felt like it also just never really felt competitive because the 49ers just felt like that they were in command the whole time. They just really controlled it. And like I said, as comfortable as Aaron looked, considering he hasn't played a game in over 600 days, I think Aaron looked incredibly comfortable, incredibly confident. But I think he also looked somewhat like, this is my team, right? Like he had his confidence, he had his excitement, and there was times when he was trying to like kind of get everyone motivated, but it never really felt like he felt like they were in this game. And I don't know if it's him taking this like kind of more like Zen approach, so to speak, but it was more like he was just kind of resigned and accepting like, yeah, this is what it is. The 49ers are going to win this game. Yeah. That's how it landed to me personally. But again, they didn't help him out. I mean, again, the 49ers 28, right? They had 38 carries for 180 yards. Compare that to the Jets, who had 19 carries and 68 yards. I mean, it's brutal. That's brutal. I mean, they just could get nothing going offensively from the run game. And that just never allowed the field to open up. There was a lot of contested throws from Aaron. And again, he was still hitting them, but it's just a tough way. And I don't know if that's on the run game, if that's just great run defense by the 49ers, or just bad scheming by Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, we won't know. That's the thing. We honestly don't know. I know 49ers fans would say that's because of our defense and, whatever it may be, but we just don't know. We have to wait a few weeks to see how this all unfolds, right? Maybe the 49ers have an amazing run defense. That's definitely a possibility. We have to wait. I know everyone wants to just run and jump to conclusions in week one. That's not how I go personally. I like to take my time. I like to try to offer as much nuance and well-rounded perspective as I possibly can. I know a lot of people get excited, and some people like to make videos or even consume videos where it's like 49ers dominate the Jets, unbelievable, the defense was amazing, offense was amazing, the NFC's a wrap, they're going to the Super Bowl, let's go, book it now. I mean, yeah, that would be a fun video to make. And a lot of 49ers fans would be all pumped up to hear it. It's not me personally. I try to, like I said, offer the nuance and kind of get lost in the weeds a little bit. But if you're a 49ers fan, you have to feel really good about that game. You definitely should feel good. I do not think the Jets are this garbage team. So when you put up 32 points and hold them to 19, I think you can feel confident about that. I think you can feel comfortable. You should be really excited about what you saw from Brock Purdy, because you had people like Nick Wright saying Brock Purdy's going to be bad. Look at all those interceptions that he's throwing in preseason and stuff and in practices. And it's like, he's looking bad. And it's like, he looked great. He looked just as great as he did since the day he played his first snap. He looks great. He really does. And, there was a lot of people in the media. Colin Cowherd, Nick Wright, pretty much not really liking both these teams. The Jets or the 49ers. Brock Purdy or Aaron Rodgers. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, I think both quarterbacks actually looked really, really good. But the 49ers just have a better team, better play caller, and just a significantly more threatening offense. And when you have just an overall more threatening offense, when you have a quarterback like Brock Purdy, he is going to make you pay. And that's all you can really ask a lot of times at the end of the day from a quarterback. Can your quarterback make the other team pay when the opportunity presents it? And Brock Purdy does. And I think it's safe to say that he is a top quarterback in the NFL. I don't think we have to give any more of these qualifiers. He is a top quarterback in the NFL. It's okay. You can be a top quarterback and also have a top coach and top weapons. Patrick Mahomes has the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. We don't ever pull him back for it. I think it's time we stop penalizing Brock Purdy. It's okay. Take a deep breath. He's a great quarterback, and he's on his way to potentially becoming an elite quarterback. He has a little bit more to reach the elite status, probably ball out in a Super Bowl, maybe win a Super Bowl, or just keep playing consistently at this level, and then we'll have to crown him. But time will tell. Time will tell. But those are just my thoughts. I know I'll have a lot more thoughts tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this video. Probably a lot of you will probably end up watching it on Tuesday because this is a late game. But I wanted to get my thoughts out. But yeah, I'll definitely be reacting to a lot of these videos in terms of like what Colin Cowherd has to say and First Things First and any of the other shows out there. But wanted to just give my quick and dirty thoughts. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What did you guys all think about this game? What do you think you learned? Any key takeaways? Are you ready to bury the Jets? Are you ready to crown the 49ers? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.